Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to Topher Drives, where today we are driving the newly facelifted 2025 Audi S3, and all of you will be riding along with me this morning on my commute to TheTopher Motors in Livonia, Michigan. Going to be doing some bring a trailer photography today, and this is our chariot for the morning commute. And honestly, when I think of an enthusiast commuter car, usually something like this comes to mind. A hopped up, hot version of just kind of a regular compact car. And well, that's exactly what the Audi S3 is. And in fact, it's even hotter for the 2025 model year with a 22 horsepower bump to its 2-liter turbo inline 4-cylinder engine. Audi's done a bunch of little things that have added up into a lot for this hot compact, and I'm excited to show you what all of that is like today on our morning commute. Now, this is also extra interesting to me because I've never driven an Audi S3 in all of my years of doing this. When I say all of my years, in my 4 years of doing this, I have driven an A3, an RS3, a GTI, and a Golf R, but somehow never an S3. And well, I think this is a good one to start out on because Audi has seriously gotten this dialed in for 2025. So I mentioned the 22 horsepower bump, which puts us up to match the 25 Golf R's 328 horsepower. Torque, though, is unchanged and still slightly under the Golf R at 295 pound-feet. We still have a 7-speed DSG that has been tuned up a bit to shift about 50% faster. And we still have Quattro all-wheel drive. Of course, this is an Audi still at the end of the day, but Audi has added some of the torque vectoring technology from the RS3. So this should go around the corner a bit like, what do they say, a scalded rabbit or a scalded, I don't know what the terminology is, but it should absolutely rip around corners. I've been daily driving this for about 4 days, and it's really been a treat. So let's poke around this quite quickly because, surprise, surprise, I have to be to TheTopher in 28 minutes. I don't know that we'll make it, but we'll try to be quick. This has new front and rear fascias. We've got a different selection of wheels now. These are the optional wheels that are the 19s. We've got bigger brakes up front. This has got the new customizable headlights that we've been seeing on a lot of the new Audi products. These S3s come in 3 different trims. This is the top trim, the Prestige, starts around $56,000. This one as spec'd with the black Optic pack and the S Sport package. This is a $60,000 Audi S3, but consider that the Volkswagen Golf R, base to base, the base Audi S3 is $48,000. The base Golf R is $48,000. So at this point, it's really just all about preference. You're not really paying a premium anymore for the Audi equivalent of a Volkswagen product. And especially now that you can't have a Golf R with a manual transmission, this is looking more and more attractive as we think about it. Now we have this newer revised rear valance back here, quad tips. This has the black Optic package as I mentioned, so we have dark badges, dark tips. We have a black roof on this car, which is actually a separate option that doesn't come with the black Optic package. I think they charge you $300 for this little bit of paint that they put on the roof, but I think it looks quite nice. The exterior is finished in Ascari blue. I love, this is honestly probably my favorite color that Audi offers right now. We had it on our SQ8 presser last fall. I think it was the one that Emily and I took to Frankenmuth. That was a really choice spec, and I think this looks the part as well. Let's look at some commute essentials before we just go ahead and jump out on the road. Pretty usable trunk space. I mean, Audi hasn't really gone too crazy with making the A3 and the S3 too big. I think a lot of companies do get a bit carried away, but this is still a small car. Under the trunk floor, we have a little bit more storage, but mainly and battery. As you can see, no spare tire, just a big tray for the battery of the car. I've got a box of stuff back there right now that I am taking to TheTopher, and it obviously fits with no problem. This has a little demonstration for the kick sensor on this car. We should try that. I washed this yesterday, and I had the car open up on me multiple times while I was, there it is. While I was spraying it. I think the water was like spraying down there. It was opening the trunk. So I had to take the key out of my pocket. Well, let's pop the hood and take a look at this, what do they call it? The iykyk 2-liter 4-cylinder. We also get this now. This is new for 25, Audi S3 TFSI Quattro. Audi's labeling all of their cars on their B-pillars lately. Been noticing that as a trend for the past couple of years. Joy of joys, we have a hood strut. I was going to say hood struts, but it's just one massive hood strut here on the right-hand side. And, okay, here's the thing. So Audi always used to have the most attractive engine bays, and I think they know this. And these days, you know, things are getting a little less exciting as far as engine bay presentation goes, especially in a little 2-liter 4-cylinder. But I like that they've put some effort in here with these little red bits on the engine cover. I think that's fun. Like, I always think back to the days of the old 4.2-liter V8 and how attractive that was. Obviously, no A3 or S3 has ever or will ever get a V8, but I don't know. This is just a nice look and a nice little elevated engine cover here. The airbox is about as big as the engine. We have a bunch of empty space right here as well. It looks like maybe the battery goes there in other markets or other models or something, but in the S3, it is located in the trunk. So that's kind of neat. Obviously, front fascia is different as well. These are all subtle changes. Honestly, I didn't really notice until I looked it up. But, I mean, having never spent time with one of these, I can't really blame myself too much. For tires today, we have a Goodyear Eagle F1, and this is a squared setup, of course, with this being a Quattro Audi. We have a 235/35 R19 in the front, and just to be safe and make sure that I did not misspeak, yep, a 235/35 R19 in the rear as well. And with the torque vectoring, this thing really does rip. We have rear proxy key on this car. I mean, come on, a small compact car with rear proxy key. Love to see it here in 2025. We have this black full leather interior with gray stitching. Room in the back seat. It's okay. You know, I'm not going to complain about this being small because I have enough room at 5'11", sat here behind myself. Little indents in the headliner to give you some more room. Fold down cup holders. Obviously, there's a little bit of a drivetrain hump here, but there is a middle seat belt, so you could still put somebody here. We've got climate vents in the back with a little temperature adjuster, 2 USB-C ports, 2 seat back pockets. Lots of good stuff. I mean, Audi is charging you $48,000 minimum for this car, all the way up to 60 grand like this one, but you do at least get some amenities in the back seat, so we do love to see that. Let's jump up front and get this show on the road here, and hopefully not be too late. Now, this is a new bit for 2025. Audi is very proud to let you guys know that there are 300 individual laser etchings on this piece of Alcantara here on the door. And it's very cool, actually, because it lights up at night. That's a new little ambient lighting trick that they've added to this, along with a couple subtle little interior changes. I just always love this quilted design that Audi puts on their S cars and their RS cars. A little bit different on an RS car, but I like that they have this attention to detail on the middle of the seats. Now, Audi will sell you red stitching on these seats, or they'll sell you full, what they call Dynamica, which is like Alcantara, on the seat inserts, but they won't sell you any color but black. Now, I went through the configurator and I picked every exterior color possible, and it only gave me the 3 black interior choices. So a little bit disappointing not to see like a red or a gray or a tan or some kind of choice for this, but I guess they found that all of their S3 buyers just want black interior. Really nice solid thud from the door. It's one thing that Audi always does really well, are their door handles, their door ka-thunks, all of that really just high quality feeling stuff. All right, let's go ahead and start this up and get on the road. This has wireless Apple CarPlay, which I am currently connected to. I'm gonna hope that this doesn't start playing 21 Pilots copyrighted music. We have the same steering wheel that we have had, which I'm really thankful for, because I don't think the new Audi steering wheels are that attractive. I think this was about peak. Honestly, the ones even before this, the generation before, I think were even prettier, but this is still a pretty steering wheel in my opinion. The new ones, not so much. We have this new shifter down here, which Audi says integrates seamlessly into the console, which I would agree with, but it's just this little like cookie looking thing, or like an Andes Mint that you shift with, and everything around it is piano black, so you got to be extra careful with that. We have this little volume slider down here, which you just kind of tease, and it'll adjust the volume, or you have this little physical knob on the steering wheel. So a couple of choices to adjust the volume on your Sonos sound system, which of course we'll be testing today once we get onto the highway. Actually a pretty decent system. We've been seeing Sonos in some of these smaller Audis for a few years at this point. Otherwise, we have different vents or different vent designs here on the dashboard, but everything else is very minor. I love that Audi still keeps this glorious, listen to these, all these clicks, this glorious physical climate control panel, heated seats that I haven't been using this week because it's been about 90 degrees. And I think that's about it. I think I've covered everything new except for the most important thing. Now, if we click this little drive select button, we can put this into dynamic and then engage what Audi calls dynamic plus. Now, this sharpens everything up to 11, essentially. This gives you all this car can give, puts your ESC in sport, and bumps the idle to 1300 RPM, kind of like a Golf R or an Audi RS product. So, I mean, they've really gone all out with this thing for 2025, and I mean, really stretched this platform to all that it's capable of. So let's go see what that's like. Let's get this out on the road. Let's commute this to Vintique Motors, and we'll see what this is like as a commuter, because I think that's important and really the best use for a car like this as a daily driver. Into reverse, parking brake off. This only has a reversing camera, but Audi does say they're going to add the option to spec on a 360 camera eventually, sometime this year. It's just not available yet. Steering feel in comfort mode, or in auto mode as I'm in right now, is pretty light, and it's also very precise. Audi does not skimp even on their basic entry-level cars as far as giving you a quality feel overall. This car's a bit weird in the way of air conditioning, though. Obviously, I've been blasting the AC this week, and it doesn't get cold until you start driving. Just idling this car is not enough. You have to actually get this engine to rev some for it to give you any AC, which is a bit odd. Somebody in the comments will be able to explain why that is. Do get some really cool boost noises from this 2-liter. I'm going to turn off the auto stop start so I can maintain my air conditioning this morning. And we'll leave this in auto mode to start off, and then we'll kind of work our way up. We'll show you dynamic plus, and then we're going to quickly jump on the highway and make our way out to Vintique. Proper rush hour commute, I suppose. Really enthusiastic little car. It's very much eager to go. Sometimes throttle response can be a little bit weird off the line because this is a DSG, so Audi's way of saying dual clutch automated manual transmission. So sometimes you feel like it's riding the clutch a little bit, and then it gets right into power a little bit too early. I don't know how to explain it. But it's ready to use that torque. Now, with this having the torque number unchanged, it doesn't mean that Audi hasn't fiddled with the tune on the car. So this does make torque a little bit earlier than it used to. I am terrified of this Buick Enclave. I want to get around him. Oh God, he is swerving all over. Use that 328 horsepower. Okay, let's take this corner up here. We're gonna go straight into Dynamic Plus. Show you guys what this can do. Okay, so this will put the transmission into sport, ESC off. It's gonna It's gonna, oh, and we have a semi in front of us. Of course, right? Why wouldn't we have a semi? Okay, we can mess with manual mode a little bit, I guess, because we'll have to come back around and do this again. That's okay. It'd be good to get this like warmed up for a second. It's also worth mentioning this has the S Sport package. That's an interesting line out of there. And the S Sport package gives you the adaptive dampers, so this really firms everything up here when we're in Dynamic Plus. Couple little burbles on the over rev. You cannot, seriously cannot feel these gear changes happening. This is really, really impressive. Probably the most impressive rendition I've ever seen of a DSG in any Volkswagen Audi Group product. Ooh, and it'll hold gears. Love that. Kind of a cool sounding rev limiter too. I was just curious if it would upshift for me. When you're in regular dynamic, it will. Use these upgraded brakes. Just the chassis on this car is just incredible. This thing rips. This is what it wants. Look how quick the steering is. Not much body roll here with these dampers in Sport. Okay, I'm gonna put this back into automatic, and this does have launch control. See, yeah, no cars coming. Let's try a quick launch before we get onto the highway. It feels so abusive doing a launch control in this car because it just rides its clutch so much. Anyway, though, we'll see if we can make some noise under the bridge here, and then we'll settle this down into comfort mode, and we'll continue our commute. Anyway, though, Audi says this is good for 0 to 60 in about 4 seconds, which I believe. I mean, it feels properly quick. I'm gonna slow this down some. These brakes feel fantastic. Doesn't make a whole lot of noise. Luckily though, there is always very good aftermarket support for these Volkswagen Audi products. I have a good friend with a 2016, I think it is, S3, and she's got all kinds of aftermarket stuff. Tune, exhaust, intake, all of the things. So if you want upgraded parts, they are out there, they do exist. Okay, let's put this back into automatic mode. We're gonna put this into comfort, really just settle everything down and see what this is like as a commuter. That's what I love about these like in-between cars, like an Audi S product, a BMW M Sport, so like an M240i or an M340i, is that they are able to calm.
Reported ahead.
Thank you so much, Jeeves. They're able to calm down so beautifully. I mean, this is now a speed that we're going to be comfortable going by an officer in, although I don't see him up here anymore. 75 miles an hour, 7th gear, 2,000 RPM. You can't hear it. The suspension is pretty dang supple. And this is all you need for a commuter. I mean, 30 minutes each way, like, this car will keep you entertained by doing some fast, twisty bits. If you have an entertaining entrance ramp in the morning, that'll wake you up. You don't need coffee. And then once you're actually merged onto the highway, it's comfortable. I mean, this is fine. The seat's a little hard. But you do have lumbar adjust, so that does at least help your back. I forgot my lumbar was already all the way out on the seat. Okay. Yeah, I was getting a little fatigued yesterday. I put about 80 miles on this car yesterday driving around, and by the end my back was a little sore. So lumbar's already adjusted all the way out. Seat bottom's a little stiff, but you do get a leg adjuster, or crumb collector as I like to call it, so that's nice to see. NVH, I'll give you guys a chance to observe that for yourselves. It's a bit loud in here, and I thought this would be a bit quieter maybe, but Audi didn't say anything about adding sound deadening or anything extra for 2025, so it stays about the same. And these Goodyear Eagle F1s are just loud tires in general, so you could remedy this partially by opting for the optional set of all seasons that Audi will sell you. Now these 19-inch wheels, they are optional. It does come with an 18, which is probably what I would do. I mean, I don't really care about having a wheel that's an inch bigger. I think the 18s look fine on here as well. On today's trip, so far over 14 miles, we've been doing 16.7 mpg. Not great, but we did have some spirited sections. What I want to point out is over the 205 miles I've put on this S3 this week, I have averaged 23.2 mpg. Now the city rating on this car is 23 mpg. You can see my average speed there is 32 miles an hour, so pretty heavy as far as the city driving goes. I did do some highway yesterday, but 23 mpg for a 95-degree day, blasting AC, some spirited sections, I don't think is all that bad. This is rated at 26 combined and 31 on the highway, so it probably will see numbers a bit higher than that, honestly. This center console slides forward, so if you're a little bit shorter, you sit closer to the steering wheel, or honestly, even I'm finding this to be quite nice. You can move this console forward, rest your elbow. Driver's side door panel is quite nice as well for squishiness. It's looking like we're probably not going to get a fun ramp today because we have a lot of people on their brakes, which means they're probably going this way. Yes, indeed they are. If this truck isn't coming by me, which it is. Okay, well, let's go into regular dynamic for this, and we'll just kind of give these guys some room, but you know, you can only give them so much room before you just catch them immediately. Nice downshifts here in dynamic mode. This DSG is just a masterpiece. I mean, it does everything I want it to do. Oh, this is pain. I know that Mustang Mach-E can rip this entrance ramp if it wants to. At least they accelerated pretty well. Yep, that's good. I usually try to avoid merging early like that if there's no emergency. Sometimes you just have to cope with merging behind a semi. That was an interesting... That was a very interesting downshift there. I don't know. Did you guys hear that? We're gonna go... Let's go into auto. I want to continue with talking about seating position, visibility, all of that stuff. Pretty good out of this car. The mirrors are a little bit small, so I mean, check your blind spots. Blind spots aren't really too crazy in this car. You can see out of it just fine. And then seating position is quite good as well. I can get this plenty low down. I've got the seat in its lowest position. I can still see plenty fine out the windshield, and I feel like I'm sitting low down enough. Sometimes in cars throughout the week I'll be just pressing the seat button to see if I can go down any lower, but I haven't been doing that with this. Now this of course has adaptive cruise, and I love Audi's setup for their cruise control systems. It's this stalk that sticks out below the steering wheel. It's not connected to the steering wheel at all, which I really do like. You pull it towards you, and then you push the little set button on the end of the stalk, and that's it. Then you're cruising, you're in cruise control. We have our distance adjust for our adaptive cruise, which have like 5 or 6 different settings on there. that exists on the stalk as well. So every bit of the cruise control all operates through this little stalk. Yeah, no, this seems like a great adaptive cruise system. I have used it a few times this week. I've had no complaints. Doesn't seem nervous. Usually from the Germans, you'll see a good active adaptive cruise system that's not like slamming on its brakes because it's scared. Overall, highway manners on this car are quite nice. I mean, I have no real complaints. And it's nice that everything is physical. Everything is within reach. Everything works without you really having to put much thought into it at all. And that's important. For a commuter car like this, you should have ease of use. I don't want to be frustrated in the morning, and that's why I picked this over a Mark 8 Golf, because you can actually use stuff in here. I mean, look at this beautiful climate control panel. Ah, it's just the best. You pay the same amount of money, you get a little bit less torque, and admittedly, I mean, I don't think this looks as cool as a Golf R. I think there's just a coolness to having a hot hatch. And Audi does make an S3 hatchback, just not in America. So unfortunately, we have to cope with only the sedan variant. All right, let's test out this Sonos sound system and see what you guys think of that.
That was my first and last mistake. I'm blue without your faith. What can I do? 'Cause I'm just a sinking ship, and you're just a pair of lips that I've lost in the moment. All I want is for you to come back. Now I'm caught in the middle of life, and I need it to survive.
Police reported ahead.
Get that turned down there. Honestly, I got a little nervous getting in here and seeing Sonos there on the tweeter, but it sounds pretty good. Now, I have had to fiddle with it a bit, and I think for these sound system tests, I want to start getting them to where I think they sound acceptable, because that's an option that you can do. And with this, Audi makes it very easy for you to get in here and adjust all of your sound settings. I really only had to bump the bass and the subwoofer up a bit because in its factory setting, it's a little bit of a hollow system. So I bumped treble up a bit to compensate, but I think that's kind of the ideal setting for this sound system. So if you have this car, you can copy that, and that's what I think sounds the best. We do also have a number of different gauge cluster designs. I've got this in the sport design, kind of with just the classic looking gauge pods, but you can also have kind of the RS looking one that's like an upside down L-shaped rev counter that goes across the middle, which is pretty cool looking. I appreciate that with kind of the cost cutting measures of these digital gauge clusters. I will forgive the company slightly if I can have a number of different designs. That at least kind of makes up for not having cool physical gauges. Ride quality when you're not in dynamic, so in auto or comfort, is quite nice. Where I think this car is let down a bit as far as comfort goes are these 35 section sidewalls on these 19-inch wheels. And these Eagle F1s, not only are they loud rotationally, they're loud when you run over an expansion joint or a pothole or something. It's very jarring. It's a very kind of loud, like nervous experience in this car. So as far as NVH goes, not the best, but it's something that doesn't necessarily matter to all people. And if you're buying a car like this that's already a bit sporty as it is, I mean, you can get over a couple little things that you have to sacrifice. It's really not the end of the world. And this still does make for a really, really nice commuter. All right, guys, well, that's just about going to wrap it up. We've got 3 minutes left of our commute this morning. And as far as a summary or some final thoughts on this car, I mean, I think this is a great all-around package. And what I like so much about this car is it kind of flies under the radar. It's kind of unassuming, and you can get this in a dark blue like this, or a black or a gray or whatever you want, or you can get bright red or bright yellow, or there's even a green color. I mean, Audi has a really nice color palette for the exterior on this car, so you can pick your flavor. There's quite a few individual options you can put on this. Of course, I'll put the spec in the description for you so you can see what exactly this car has on it. But I really like this as a cohesive package. It's quick, it's agile, it looks cool, it's understated. It's a bit of a grown-up hot compact, and if you're someone that doesn't want to be popping and banging and doing all the things that, like, say, an Elantra N does, if you want to be a bit more mature with your hot compact, then you can have one of these. I mean, it's quite a bit more expensive than an Elantra N, of course, but this is a lot cooler than BMW's equivalent, the M235? What do they call it? I mean, not the two-door one. I'm talking about the four-door front-wheel drive biased car that just, it doesn't feel as finished as this car. I mean, this feels like a very high quality item as far as the interior bits go. It's some of the things like the top of the door panels, that's not nice, but like the Alcantara here in the middle of the door panels, the squishiness from both of your elbow surfaces, the leather wrapped dashboard, this kind of open weave carbon fiber here, this whole package just comes together very nicely. And for 48 grand starting, I don't see why you wouldn't pick this over a Golf R. I would. Every day of the week, I'm picking this over a Golf R. I think you'll be happy with this car, especially if you live in the north, if you live in Michigan like I do. I mean, the all-wheel drive is great for the winters, especially if you live in northern Michigan. You got to get through some stuff, not only the all-wheel drive, but the torque vectoring, kind of just the clever overall nature of the all-wheel drive system in this car is going to be very beneficial for you in day-to-day life. And the commutability of this car, the efficiency, the ease of use with the infotainment, the climate control panel, it all just comes together very nicely. So great job, Audi, for 25. I mean, I think they've really just perfected this formula so well. There's even places to put things. I mean, I've got a little protein shake that's been hiding down here in the door pocket. It hasn't been rattling around. Wireless charger in front of the shifter, 2 cup holders. You've got this little baby center console. I mean, you can't really put much in there, but it is there for you. And I know I've said that this does feel a bit more grown up, a bit more mature than some of its counterparts, but it is still plenty exciting. I mean, it makes some cool noises still. I'm engaged by the driving experience, so it just makes this whole thing worth it to me. Simple as that. I think you're not really giving anything up, and you're going to be really happy with this package overall. So let's get this pulled into Vintique Motors. We'll give you guys one last look at the exterior of this S3. Ooh, what do we get to see pulling in? Ooh, a quite nice Ford hot rod. We've got an Alfa Romeo over here. I think this shifter's a little silly, but I don't mind it. It actually feels nice. It gives a good click sensation. And the little P button there, electronic parking brake. Ergonomically, like, you learn all this stuff. It's all very natural. And I love these door handles. 2 fingers, easy to get out. You're not searching for that door handle. Thought somebody was catcalling me, but it's just a bird. All right. All right, guys, that's going to do it for us today. Let me know if you have any questions, if I left anything out in this little commute in the S3 this morning. But really just great package. I know I've said that a million times, but I really, really like this car. And I think it's an option that's often overlooked. So take a look at one of these. Go spec one out. They've got a good configurator on the website. But that'll be it. Thank you guys so much for watching. We'll see you in the next one. Take care.